it is all happening here this morning. So I am hopping on a plane to Sydney. I'm being picked up anytime after 10:30 this morning, and I don't get back till tomorrow afternoon. Really looking forward to it. Big Thermomix thing, which I've been very lucky to be invited to. So, but on the other hand, I've got that happening. And then our son arrives with his girlfriend from the US today. And actually they're flying via Sydney. So they're going to meet me at the gate when I get there, which is really exciting because I've never met her face to face, and seen her a couple of times on Zoom, and she seems absolutely delightful. So very excited to meet her. And then they're flying down to Melbourne. So they've got the night here. Well, they've got quite a few nights here because they're coming for our daughter's wedding. But I want to make sure I've got some nice things there, you know, nice food ready to eat. So I've made a meat bolognese sauce, and I've done a lentil and vegetable bolognese because Kim is vegetarian. And so I'm just making a couple of other things. I'm going to make the zucchini slice, and I'm going to make the apple crumble cake. And there are a couple of little things in here which I thought would be quite useful for you guys to see. I think I've made these before and probably posted before, but you never know. I know not everybody goes back and looks at what's been done before. And so I thought I might as well do this. Plus, because I haven't posted much for a while, have I? So here we go. All right, so I am starting off with the apple crumble cake because it takes the longest to cook. And it's a really interesting, both of these recipes, it's really well worth reading through before you get started. So I've got them both in my week. Now, just another little tip here. So this is one view for my week. And what I love about this view is you can go back and you can see what you've made before. So you might have made something and you know forgotten what it is, but you can go back. So let's come to today. The other view is this one, which is my normal view, but if I want to go back and check something. So I'm doing the apple crumble cake first. Now, with this recipe, if you read through, at some point here, the apple layer, place a bowl on the mixing bowl, lid, and put in your sliced apples. Well, as I have a Thermomix cutter, I'm going to use them to slice my apples. So I'm going to do that first. So I'm just going to go start cooking here. I have the oven is heating and I have lined my base and greased the thing. But instead of going onto here, I'm going to just bookmark that. And I'm going to use the cutter to slice my apples. So there's the drive shaft of the cutter, which just sits over the blades like that. Sits better one way than the other. So the spinach leaf in here. Busy weighing out ingredients. Then the basket goes in. All right. Now I don't want my apples grated. I want them sliced. So I have side one, which is the slicing, uppermost. Pop this on here, just so I can move it back. I've got stuff everywhere in this kitchen. And then I'm going to swipe through, swipe down, find slicing, and I'm going to do thick slicing. I have peeled and ordered my apples. So I'm going to pop them in here. And I'm just going to keep feeding them in. So you can see I've got all these apples and I put 2/4 in already. And I am just going to keep feeding them. One guy, that one. Okay. How quick was that? It's the only thing I find really frustrating about this is I can't time it. And it would be quite nice to know because I know how quick it is. Anyway, here we go. Sliced apples. So much quicker than me doing it by myself. Now, what it does, what we do is put them all into a bowl. I would have left them in this bowl, but I actually need a little bit of space because I've got to add sugar and lemon juice. Always like to save on the washing up, but there we go, in seconds. All right. the little bits caught up here, so I'll grab them. All right, so that is that. And whilst I'm at it, I'm actually going to do the rest of the apple bit here. So I'm going to go, take your drive shaft out, really important. So I'm actually going to come into here, 3 dots, recipe details, scroll down through the recipe, and I'm just going to hit the apple, place a bowl on top, put the apples in, 20 grams of lemon juice. So I have squeezed lemons somewhere. Where did I put that? Oh, there it is. Okay. I've got things, little bowls of things lined up everywhere. So 20 grams of lemon juice. Here we go. Lemon juice for me to drink. And 50 grams of demerara sugar. So I've just got raw sugar here. And I think I went under a bit here because, you know, it's always a lot of sugar. Stir together. I'm just going to give a bit of a shake. All right, so there's my apples done. So that was a really good example of reading the recipe first. So apples are done. I'm going to put them aside over here. All right, now we're going to go back into the recipe detail. And I'm going to start here. All right, I'll just grab all my ingredients that are lined up on the windowsill. It says blanched almonds. I don't have blanched almonds. I'm using almonds. I'm going to chop those up. 10 seconds, speed 10. $75 grams of plain flour, this is gluten-free. So I've taken the lid off after I step through. I need to make sure that I tear that scales to 0. There we go. 70 grams of unsalted butter, chilled. Actually going to just push the sides down a little bit because my this has gone up the sides a little bit. Okay. Okay. Whoops. It's just going to use turbo here. 3 times turbo. Then asking me to scrape down the sides of the bowl, which actually doesn't need to happen. And 50 grams of sugar. So I usually just do cut it down a little bit. That'll do. Three times more for turbo. Actually don't think it needs 3. Transfer to a small bowl and set aside for the topping. Just a reminder, you can't get the lid won't unlock until you get out of turbo. So the best way to do that, if you're just doing it manually, is just hit the home button. And there we go. Here's our crumble. Yum. All right. So the next bit is the apple bit. So again, I'm going to go to recipe detail and I'm going to jump past the apple layer. So this one. Now I've got 100 grams of granulated sugar. So I think I put 80 in here. Yep. 100 grams of unsalted butter. Excuse me, I just have to stretch over. So there's my butter, chopped into pieces. 2 large eggs, which I've just broken into here. Don't you love this recipe? No bowl washing required. All right, spread down the sides with the spatula. Really that hardly needs doing. And then 100 grams of self-raising flour. So I'm using Well and Good gluten-free flour. Oops, a little over the top there. So just grab a spoon. There we go. Knock it off. Pop the lid on again. 20 seconds, speed 4. Now, gave me time to do a little bit of tidying up. Right. I find with gluten-free flour, it's very fine and it does go up the sides a bit. So I'm going to push this down, but look how beautiful that looks. I'm going to push this down. Just give it a quick little, I could put it on for another couple of seconds, but you know, that's fine. My tin is here. So what I've done is I have greased, I think it's 20 centimeters. Might be a bit bigger. Anyway, we'll see how we go. I've greased it, I've lined it. And this goes into the bottom. So this is the sponge layer. Right. Now, I've got a whole lot around the blades there. The easiest way to get that off is to bookmark my recipe and then come back into my favorite mode of turbo. Okay, now remember, we've got to get out of turbo for it to unlock. So I've just hit that bookmark recipe. And here we are, clean blades, lots more here to scrape that. All right. And you know what? I'm going to put that on for, oh, actually, it doesn't matter. I'm going to fill up my dishwasher after this. Just put that out of the way. And I'm going to put that on the bottom. Sponge, I'll show you when I've got it done. Okay. I think it might be bigger than 20 centimeters, but anyway, let's not worry about that. It'll just be a slightly flatter cake, but it'll look bigger. Okay. Apple going on top. Oh, it's going to be fine. I didn't even know what I was thinking about. Pause. Sprinkle the crumble topping and followed by flaked almonds, which I don't have for decoration. Anyway, here I've got the crumble topping, so I'm just going to put that on the top. Now, our son loves crumble, so I'm hoping he's going to love this cake. And he loves apple crumble. Doesn't love any other crumble, but he loves apple crumble. So you know, gotta look after your kids, don't you? Make what they like. All right. So that is going for 45 to, I'm going to put 50 minutes on the clock here. So down here, so it said 45 to 50 minutes. So I'm going to pop that in. and give my hands a really quick wash. And get another bowl out and start on the next recipe. Got to wash my spatula a second. Okay. Dry this. Okay, the one thing I haven't done is grease my next thing. So the timer, I click out of the timer there. Serve warm or cold. All right. So I'm going back into my week here. My week. And I'm going to make the zucchini cheddar slice. Now, this is another recipe where you actually need to read. So I'm going to go into recipe detail here. And one of the ingredients is rice flour. So the easiest thing to do, I mean, I do have 2 bowls, but obviously I've just used one. I want to start with a nice dry bowl. I think I can actually put the rice flour into this that had the crumble mixture in. And I'm going to make the rice flour first. So I have weighed my rice, but and it was 100 grams. I can go continue. I can get out of here. I can come into my scales and check that I've got 100 grams in there. That'll do. Okay. Then, actually, no, I didn't want to bookmark that. I just want to come to the home. And I'm just going to do 10 seconds. Oops. That'll do. On speed 10, make my rice flour. That time I should have been doing something really good, like greasing my pan, my dish. I didn't. Actually, this is brown rice. I'm going to do it a bit longer. So I'm going to come back in here. I'll just put it on for 10. I'm going to grease my dish. Check that out in a sec. I like using butter rather than oil, but you could of course use oil if you wanted to. Let's give this a good grease. This I don't know if when you grew up, I'm probably older than a lot of you, but my mum, she kept all the butter papers, and that's what we used for greasing. You know, cake tins and everything. So I guess I grew up using butter, and that's what we all, you know, do things that our mum did. There we go. All right. So there's my dish. Hopefully I'm happy with that rice. Yeah. There we go. So I'm going to pop that into here. Okay. So we've got our 100 grams of rice flour ready for later in the recipe. Now I'm coming back into the recipe. Done all that. 100 grams of cheddar cheese. Now this is a little bit of a gamble list because Taz doesn't like cheese, but anyway, I think it's just the texture. When he was a kid, he didn't like you know, cheese on toast. So I'm gonna see if I can get away with this. Because his as I said, his girlfriend is not a I'm putting parsley in here. Okay. I don't have basil, so that's that. And spinach. Yeah, his girlfriend's a vegetarian, so this recipe normally has bacon in it, but I find you could she doesn't eat fish either. But you know, sometimes I put tuna in, sometimes I Yeah, sometimes I put tuna in, sometimes I put the bacon in, and sometimes I put feta in. So I normally put the feta in little chunks. But I'm going to crumble that up and see if I can get away with that as well. We'll see if he notices. I think it's a bit naughty. Anyway, looks a little bit like pesto. I actually made, it does like pesto, and I made pesto yesterday. So, all right. Okay, so there's my cheese and everything there. I think I'm going to get away with this, okay? So I've also had a little bit of broccoli, which really is a little bit soft, so I'm going to use that. So I'm putting in zucchini and broccoli. Oh. 7 seconds speed forward. Just to transfer to a bowl with the cheese. So there's all the that chopped up. Now, I seem to have lost my spatula. I cleaned it. I don't know where I put it. I'll just pull another one out. This is actually a TM5 spatula, which is a little bit different because it doesn't have the flexible bottom bit, but that's all right. Still does the same trick. So I'm just scraping out this. $150 of brown onion. I'm a little under on that. And it says the bacon. Well, I'm not doing the bacon. Chop this for 3 seconds, speed 5. Found the spatula, it was hiding under the tea towel. Scrape down, and then it's asking me to actually cook this for 5 minutes. So because there's no bacon in there, I'm actually going to put a splash of olive oil in there. Quite a big splash. And asking me to put the simmering basket on top. So grab that. And that is going to cook for 5 minutes. Okay, so I'm just going to pause this for a minute. So my onions are just finishing off cooking, okay? And what I've done is I've crumbled up some feta in with this mixture here. I've tried to, I don't know, I'm sure I'll see that there's white things in there, but anyway, he'll deal with it. There's ham in the fridge if he doesn't want to eat this. Okay, I've got 38 minutes on my cake. And let's just have a look and see how long this takes to cook. 30 minutes. So that's actually pretty good. So I think we're going to end up at a pretty similar time. So I'm going to go continue. 48 seconds. So there are a couple of zucchini slice recipes in Cookie Doo. This is actually an English one. It's the zucchini cheddar slice. And I just like it a little bit better. It's got a bit more greenery in it. The other things we're going to add, it says frozen peas. I've done a mixture of frozen peas and corn because I think that might give different flavor bursts as well and take away from any cheesy things he might be thinking about. I'll let you know how that goes. He might just think I'm a real mean mother, or he might just suck it up. Funny story, I remember many, many years ago, when I was a kid, my mother served up rabbit. And I worked out the anatomy was different to chicken. And she said, oh, no, 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 you know, whatever. Anyway, I realized it was rabbit and I refused to eat it. And then probably about 5 years later, he served up rabbit again. Only this time I ate it, not because I wanted to eat rabbit, because we had a pet rabbit in the garden. But I appreciated the effort she'd gone through to cook dinner. So I'm hoping he'll appreciate the effort. Anyway, here we go. 5 eggs. Yeah, I've got them. Oh, so what I'm doing with the eggs, I'm making a very fancy birthday cake for Taz, which I haven't filmed because there's so many components and I'm no good at, you know, joining things together. But I had some egg whites left over. I had 3 egg whites left over. So instead of 5 eggs, I've got 3 egg whites and 4 eggs. So I'll chuck that in. Running out of space here. My rice flour. So you can see why I wanted to make that before. Salt. Salt. Pepper. Now, this is my mixture. I've got frozen peas and corn. And then all of this goes in. Okay. 80 grams of olive oil. I'm not going to put quite as much olive oil in because remember I gave it a good splash before. Oops. A pretty good splash this time too. All right. Lid's going on. Oops. Escape P. 6 seconds on speed 4. All right. It's looking nice and green. So I'm going to put that into my dish here. He's not even going to notice that there's any white bits in there. Well, I'm not here to answer the question anyway, if he wonders what they are. So, here we go. All right, so just spread that out. Looks healthy, doesn't it? It's healthy. And that is going to bake for 30 minutes or until set and golden brown. That's done.